Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel SS Analysis. First of all, I would like to tell you that if you are watching this video first time, subscribe my channel to see my more upcoming videos on analysis of different commodities and equity indices. And second important thing is to watch this video till its end to understand this solely to take your decision. Your one like will motivate me to be regular in working more for you. So let us start the day to analyze the movements of natural gas futures in different time frames. So friends, here you can see a weekly chart of natural gas futures. Here I have already discussed that the natural gas futures have been repeating the moves of 2018 in 2021. Here we can see that how the natural gas futures started an uptrend from October 2018 from the levels of $3.119, and the same uptrend started here in June 2021. The net gas behaved in the same manner when the natural gas futures started this current uptrend from the levels of $3.119 and finally faced stiff resistance at the levels of $3.821. This was the toughest resistance for natural gas futures, and the same level provided a stiff resistance to net gas during the year 2018 when the natural gas futures found this level as a tough resistance during the month of November 2018. But here you can see that a breakout above this level during the month of November 2018, the natural gas futures tested a high at the levels of $4.9. So friends, here you can see that how the natural gas futures consolidated amid a bullish flag during the past few weeks and finally found a breakout above this bullish flag during the last week when the natural gas futures finally closed the last week above the psychological resistance at $4, where you can see that how the natural gas futures have finally closed at the levels of $4.060 after testing a high at the levels of $4.071. So friends, here I find that the level of $4 will be the immediate support for natural gas futures. So friends, here I find that now this psychological resistance at $4 has turned into a psychological support for natural gas futures, as we have seen here when the natural gas futures were trading well below the psychological resistance at $3. When the natural gas futures found a breakout above the levels of $3 in May 2021, we have seen a sharp rally in natural gas futures which is still continue, and finally the natural gas futures have found a second breakout above the psychological resistance at $4. So friends, this ensures that the natural gas futures could continue to remain bullish above this psychological support. If we find the natural gas futures to sustain above this level, we'll see this uptrend to continue where the immediate resistance for natural gas futures can be seen at the levels of $4.229, and the next resistance will be at the levels of $4.427, and the third resistance will be at the levels of $4.631. So friends, here I find that the natural gas futures could remain very volatile, but here I find that as you can see here in a weekly time frame, the natural gas futures started this uptrend from the levels of $2.4 in March 2021 and showed a strong upward move up to the levels of $3.4. So this was a $1 move from the levels of $2.4 to $3.4. So friends, here I find that this has ensured one more breakout of $1 from here, which ensures natural gas futures could test the levels of $4.4 during the upcoming weeks, because during the upcoming 1 or 2 weeks the weather could remain warmer than normal because the heat waves could continue to push natural gas futures to test new highs where the natural gas futures could find some resistance here. But here I find that if the natural gas futures find a sustainable move above the levels of $3.987, we'll see the natural gas futures could try to maintain this uptrend up to the levels of $4.4 during the upcoming week, where a breakout above this target will result in continuation of this uptrend. So friends, here you can see that how in a weekly time frame the natural gas futures have entered in the same bullish territory here once again during the last week, where I find that a decisional move above the levels of $4 could keep this uptrend intact during the upcoming weeks, where the natural gas futures could once again test a fresh peak during the upcoming weeks, because the weather could be very supportive for natural gas futures, but the volatility could be higher amid this zone, because here you can see that how the natural gas futures found extremely volatile moves amid this zone. So once again the natural gas futures have entered in this bullish zone, but the volatility could be on the higher scale, where the natural gas futures could find the levels of $4.633 as a tough resistance level, from where the natural gas futures could find sharp sell-off from here. So friends, here I find that if the natural gas futures hold above the levels of $3.987, we'll see this uptrend to continue. Amid this volatile moves, we could find some sell-off from these resistance levels. So friends, here I find that if the natural gas futures continue to hold above the level of $4, we'll see this uptrend to continue. But here a breakdown below the levels of the 3.980 could push the natural gas futures to test the next support at the levels of the 3.829. And here I find that if the natural gas futures are not able to hold this level, in case of a downward move, we'll see the natural gas futures could take a sharp downward move. The natural gas futures could test the levels of the 3.698, but from here a sharp reversal can be seen. Once again, this reversal could push the natural gas futures back into this bullish territory. So friends, here I find that any downward move will provide a good opportunity to go long above the levels of the 3.849. I find that every downward move could find a strong buying support from here, which could continue to push the natural gas futures towards the levels of the 4.4. So friends, now let us check this move in a daily time frame. So here in a daily time frame, here you can see that how the natural gas futures started the current uptrend from the levels of the 2.4 in April 2021, and the natural gas futures continued this uptrend after the formation of this bullish crossover during the month of April 2021. The natural gas futures found first resistance at the levels of $2.996, but continued this rally when the natural gas futures found a breakout above the psychological resistance at $3 during the month of May 2021. But once again, the natural gas futures could not sustain above the levels of $3.104 and found some sell-off from here and tested the upper end of Ichimoku cloud, from where the natural gas futures found strong buying support, which pushed the natural gas futures to test fresh highs up to the levels of $3.377 on June 11. But here you can see that how the natural gas futures continued to face bearish pressure, and once again the natural gas futures found a breakout from the levels of $3.321 and continued to remain in an uptrend up to the levels of $3.8, what the natural gas futures tested on June 29, and continued to consolidate amid this bullish flag, and finally found a breakout above this bullish flag on July 20th. Since then, we have seen that the natural gas futures have entered in a bullish territory. I have already explained in a weekly chart that how the natural gas futures could show bullish moves in this territory, because here I find that if the natural gas futures sustain above the levels of $4 during the upcoming week, we will see the natural gas futures could breach the immediate resistance at the 4.229 on the first two trading sessions of the upcoming week. So friends, here I find that a breakout above the levels of the 4.228 could continue to push natural gas futures to test new highs, where the next target could be at the levels of the 4.5. So friends, here you can see that how the natural gas futures have been maintaining this uptrend, where the immediate support for natural gas futures in a daily time frame will be at the levels of $3.988, and the next support will be at the 9 days moving average, which is currently at the levels of $3.828, where the natural gas futures could find a strong buying support. But in case if the natural gas futures are not able to hold above the 9 days moving average, we'll see a downward move which could push the natural gas futures towards the levels of the 3.6, where the 26 days moving average will provide a strong buying support to natural gas futures, and from where the natural gas futures could find a strong reversal during the upcoming week. If the natural gas futures try to test these lows, we'll find the natural gas futures could see a sharp reversal from these lows. So friends, here you can see that how the natural gas futures continue to defend the support at the $3.625 from June 28, which is resulted in this bullish consolidation, and finally the natural gas futures found a breakout on July 20th. So friends, be ready to see an action in natural gas futures. So thank you friends, thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to share this video with your more and more friends. Thank you.